I don't doubt the pandemic is real. I don't doubt that coronavirus is real. I don't doubt it's dangerous. I'm probably a target market for the coronavirus, simply because I've had pneumonia 3 times. I had malaria. I had a diving accident where I blew my lungs out. I embolized. So
Wow.
I'm a candidate. So I'm just as concerned about the coronavirus, but I think it's a sleight of hand. It's
Mm.
called, in that book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, Edward Griffin wrote about the mandrake mechanism, where mandrake's the magician. And so what the magician does, he has everybody so afraid of this thing called a virus, which I say is real, as they steal your money and they steal your wealth. And I've been, chicken little, as you know, for years and years and years, advising people not to save money, but to save gold and silver, what I call God's money. And I've been chicken little for so long, I'm actually quite happy the virus is here because people are saying, I should have listened to you. And I said, yeah, you should have. That isn't that part of the fake. My book was also fake money before Who Stole My Pension. And before that was Conspiracy of the Rich. And before that was Prophecy, predicting the financial crash that came in 2016, but it didn't come till 2020. So I was off by 4 years. As I wrote about my book, Fake, you have fake money, you have fake school teachers. They don't teach you anything about money. And you have fake assets. The biggest fake is the stock market. I mean, how can it go up 1,500 points in 5 seconds and then come down 1,000 points in 5 seconds? If that's not manipulation, wake up and smell the coffee. But as you and I know, which Kitco reports on, the real problem is in the repo market and the commercial paper market. That's where the real theft is taking place right now. And the average person is watching the stock market. And my friends call up and they said, you know what? I should have bought some gold and silver. Well, it's kind of nice to be chicken little and be validated finally. But these guys now can't find any gold and silver. So I pray for them tonight. Waking up that you cannot trust our own government. I was a Marine pilot in Vietnam, and that's where I had my wake-up call in 72. I said, ¿Qué pasa? Why am I out here shooting innocent people? And who am I shooting them for? It's just like weapons of mass destruction. Where are they? If people I agree with are like Gerald Celente, man, he says it better than I do. And Jim Rickards, by the way, Jim and I are writing a book together called The Ravens. It's How Do You See the Future? But these guys have been saying it for years. And Danielle, the good thing is, I think people, as they sit in quarantine, as they lose their jobs or homes or pensions, their businesses and all this, I think they're waking up that they're being screwed. They've been screwed. I think that's the message, Danielle, is the American public is finally waking up. It's not capitalism, it's corrupt capitalism or criminal capitalism. And all of these stimulus packages, as Rickard says, they're not stimulus. They're just destroying everybody's economy. It's socialism for the rich as the poor and middle class lose their jobs and businesses and their savings and their pensions. This is criminal, what's happening. Now, that's the reason I write and I get so vehement about it, is that it's criminal what we're doing to our own people. It's criminal capitalism, not capitalism. So that's why I get so upset. There's no financial education in our schools. What does school teach you about money? The answer is nothing. If I was a school teacher, I'd be telling kids to buy silver. It's $20, buy it. I knew it was coming, but I couldn't believe they'd actually quarantine people, take their jobs away. This is martial law. This is a manufactured Great Depression when there was real unemployment. Now they have to manufacture unemployment. I mean, it's more frightening than I ever imagined. It's more dastardly, it's more deceptive, it's more criminal than I ever imagined. I'm not that I'm afraid, but I feel for the people who are duped, the people who really think it's about the virus, not the biggest cash heist going on behind their backs in the repo market, the commercial paper market, and the credit markets. They just can't see their money is being stolen via their money. I agree with Jim Rickards, he's a brilliant man. What he says is I agree with. It's not the price of gold, it's the number of ounces of gold and silver do you have. So I don't measure my wealth in dollars or my gold and silver. I have thousands of ounces. I don't even know how much I have, but I just keep acquiring it because, just as Jim says, is when you need it, you won't be able to buy it. And he says exactly as I say. The floating gold and silver supply is gone. People are hiding gold and silver like they hide toilet paper and guns right now. The problem is the poor and the middle class still have not got the message that gold and silver are God's money. Gold and silver have been here since the earth was formed. Your only counterparty is God, not the bank. That's what I saw. Chris Fox puts up Nancy Pelosi's picture. But all it means to me is they go to crypto. It means the Federal Reserve Bank is sick and tired of Bitcoin taking their power away from them. So when it goes to crypto, it means more control over our lives via our money, but also less freedom. So as Jim Rickard says, they're taking away our freedoms one step at a time. So they want to track. They don't like cash and they don't like gold because they can't control it. There's no serial numbers they can follow, but they can follow you and track your movements. Not that I'm a criminal, but they want to follow our movements and take our freedoms away by registering every crypto dollar, whatever they call it, and the central banks then control it. Remember this, the central banks, as many of your people, your contributors to Kitco say, is a criminal operation. They've been stealing our wealth for years. That's my concern. And everybody thinks they're wonderful people. I think it's pretty good right now for me personally, but I was prepared for it. My concern, again, as we all know, is civil unrest. And I was at the gun shop yesterday, and people think I'm anti-guns. I'm a Marine. I got enough ammunition to stockpile Cuba. And I carry class 3 weapons and full autos. You don't go to a gunfight with a Glock when you can carry a full auto. You know what I mean? There's a big difference. Being a Marine, I'm a pretty sick individual. But I think that's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, there's probably a 20% chance we're going to civil unrest, and that's why the National Guard is already out now, pretending to guard the toilet paper supplies. And I'm doing my best to stay isolated, but I'm not stopping. I'm not. It's not that I'm not afraid; is that I'm prepared. I kind of have the Dirty Harry approach. Make my day. You come after me, I'm going to come after you. And that's what I wrote about. And by the way, the Twitter was taken down because I posted the real facts on coronavirus, the flu, diabetes, gunshots, and stuff like this. It's a ruse. I mean, I don't doubt it's real, but it's blown out of proportion by the media. It's a fake. It's a deception to steal our money. So that's all I'm saying. And so am I afraid? I'm afraid of my next door neighbor. That's who I'm afraid of. If they don't have any money or they can't feed their kids, desperate people do desperate things. So I think you have to be prepared mentally. And just because you buy a Glock and you go and you shoot paper targets doesn't mean you're tactically ready for combat. There's a difference between shooting at paper.
I think as an adult you can go hungry, but you don't want to see your kids go hungry. And that's what's going to happen.
Do you think it's going to get that bad?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What is the biggest factor that's going to cause that?
Well, the reason I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad is the U.S. dollar. That's my book over there, Fake, which came out last year. Fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. And the U.S. dollar is fake. Never in the history of the world has any fake money ever survived. And we're doing the same thing. We just keep printing this money. And when I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad almost 25 years ago, people said I didn't know what I was talking about. I said savers would be losers. Now, today, there's quantitative easing, which is counterfeiting money. And then you have zero interest rates. And people are still saving money. Are you nuts? They just printed, I think, $500 billion in September of this year because the repo market is going down. And the average guy goes, well, what's the repo market? They don't know. So that's why it's fake money, fake teachers, fake assets. Our education system, it has been my rant forever. Why don't we teach people about money? Why is it? We all use money, but we don't teach people about it.
In 2008, the Fed printed $4.5 trillion, and in 2020, the Fed are going to print between 6 and 8 trillion, but maybe even more. And to put it in perspective, there's only 9.5 trillion in gold in the whole world, and so Robert recommends that you buy real gold, silver, and Bitcoin. 1913 is when the Federal Reserve took over the U.S. banking system, and since then the dollar has lost over 96% of its value, and so a dollar back in 1913 would be less than 4 cents today. So for example, the British pound is the longest running fiat currency. It was originally valued as 1 British pound for 12 ounces of silver. It's now worth less than 1/200th of its original value. So in other words, the most successful long-standing currency in existence has lost 99.5% of its value.